What's up everyone, Keits here. Today's Monday. Not sure when this video is going to be released, but it is Monday. Talked to Cody on the Bench with Beeks crew. Sounds like it's a good day to do a little bit of stick and puck. So let's just head over there and see what we can get into. Let's do this. Alright, we're here. Just getting there. Super fast. Who's here?
Whoa, it's about time.
Drinking the Labatt's. What's up, buddy? So we got a setup going already?
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
Where's that Bryce guy?
Oh, I've lost him in the world of Sunrun.
Yeah, I heard he's doing some meeting stuff.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Looks like we're almost ready to do another stick and puck, eh?
Oh, S&P be the choice for me, baby.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man, come on, let's win this mother.
Much later.
You've paid your $5. Now let's get into stick and puck.
All right, S&P be the choice for me. Welcome back to the second session of Stick and Puck, brought to you by the On the Bench with Beeks podcast, along with Between the Pipes podcast. As you know, I am Beeks. We got Keits.
What's up? Did you guys pay your $5?
Oh, they better. Is everybody checking hand stamps already?
You better.
And then we got Bryce as well here.
Always $5 for stick and puck. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Now less that inflation. I see you, Josh Schneider. Anyways, so we're back here again.
We made it to the second one. I'm surprised, right?
We made it to the second stick and puck. Isn't that incredible? So, so let's hop right into it. I just realized as we record this, it is the second anniversary of On the Bench with Beeks. And that's absolutely crazy. I mean, we've made it 2 years, boys. And seeing as how we all of our podcast, career, if you want to call it that, has stemmed from On the Bench with Beeks, I kind of want to just take a look back and see what your guys' favorite parts of like actually having a podcast and kind of what you guys learned from it. So,
5 minutes till game time. Why not grab some buns?
I hope everyone heard that 5 minutes till game time. For those that can't see it on the video, but we got a TV behind us here. The Avs game is about to start. We have that going in the background so we can keep tabs on it. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, let's get into it. Keits, I mean, what have you learned? What have you liked from doing a hockey podcast? And what do you hope to kind of like grow from this like second year kind of anniversary?
Oh, man. So many memories, right, to begin with. I mean, kind of we talked about it last year, too. It's like kind of where we started and, with the equipment malfunctions and just not knowing what we're doing and to being here is kind of cool to see, Yeah. I think if you listen to like the very first On the Bench with Beeks and then kind of like 2 years now down the road and, even as little as like audio and editing and things like that, I think we've done a very good job and we've learned a lot. So that's been a big learning lesson right there, right? Just kind of figuring out how that all works. The equipment that you need, we kind of, again, we didn't know what we were doing with that. We just thought if you have a gold microphone and whatever else we had, we were good to go, and we were wrong. We needed more other things, and maybe even needed to get rid of some of the things that we did get.
Especially being able to record multiple mics rather than just three sweaty dudes in a garage
sharing a microphone,
holding around one microphone.
God, could you imagine if there was video then? Just seeing, one of these, and you're just kind of like,
yeah,
just a video of us trying to figure it out.
Just drinking beers, like all literally huddled up by one golden mic. And Bryce, you kind of have like a different way of coming in because you came in kind of like halfway through our second season, if you will. But like, where are you at right now with the podcast and kind of what you've learned so far?
Well, I thought it was longer than that. It was, I think it was like 6 months into it because I remember being here for the first anniversary. for you guys.
Yeah, well, that was like during second season though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
we're technically in our third season just because we kind of like base our seasons off of
like the hockey seasons.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, totally. I mean, obviously, Keits is here. From the beginning, he was kind of taught me all the electronics and things like that, and the ups and downs. I'm still having ups and downs. It's not ever easy. But to be said, other than that, it's just been realizing how awesome the hockey world is. Seeing the dog bowl and everyone that's there, meeting awesome hockey players. LOC was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Having Peter McNabb on, just the guests too, Milan Hajduk. Some of the guests we have on here, it's been amazing just talking to some of the best out there. So for me, that's going to be the highlights.
Absolutely, and I mean that goes for me too. I mean, just really truly meeting some of the best people in the hockey community and being able to, share the love of hockey with these incredible people and just seeing what they're doing in the hockey community to make it so great is just always such a treat. And I think it's made us, I think, like better people and I think more hockey fans in general.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, man. I've told you and a lot of people know that I took a long break from hockey because I just got burnt out and, other things seemed interesting back then and stuff. And I really thought I'd never come back to hockey. So between, kind of, finding beer league and then reconnecting with you guys again and starting this thing has created this whole different thing of hockey for me again, and we'll talk about it later with the jerseys and things like that. Yeah. It's like things that I never imagined I would do, and I think a lot of that is thanks to On the Bench with Beeks.
Right, and same with me. I mean, obviously, I had to take a break from actually playing hockey due to unfortunate circumstances. But after that, it almost kind of just, almost kind of deterred me from allowing myself to be a more of a fan for hockey. But after coming and doing this podcast and just hearing all these stories, it's reinforced a love that I knew was always there, but maybe wasn't burning so bright.
Yeah, and I'm gonna carry on to that too a little bit here. As you do podcasts, you're forced to research more. You're forced to really dig into the hockey, the history of it. And for me, I thought I was a hockey fan. But now, the last 2 years, I'm really a hockey fan. I'm going back, watching old games, looking at stats, and just realizing different names I'd never heard before and what they did for the league. It's just so cool. So,
thank you, Bud Light, Gold Light. So, all right. So, that's beautiful. And, happy birthday to On the Bench with Beeks. And thank you to all the listeners that have stuck by us through, fun, hard, great times and all that. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of move on to kind of like it's going to be an elephant in the room no matter where you go, politically, socially, and it's even touching the sports world. I mean, obviously, all the stuff that's happening with Ukraine and Russia, we wanted to kind of take a look at what the sports side of it's going to be, especially for hockey teams and hockey players, Russian-born players or players who are playing over in the KHL. And I wanted to start by this is truly happening right under our noses, and I mean and with all the players that are playing over in KHL, this is a dangerous time for them. And I just so what we kind of want to do is kind of get all our own thoughts out about this. And I know this touched really close to you and your pops there, Keits, because I mean Latvia was under the rule of the Iron Curtain for a while, and so your dad knows more than anybody about this kind of stuff. So I want to get your kind of thoughts on this real quick.
Yeah, man. Let me crack another beer for this one because it's a touchy subject. And to go back a little bit, when we recorded the first Steak and Puck, right, we kind of knew what was going on. There was a lot of speculations, and just for listeners that know too, when we recorded that, it was weeks before we actually released it. So when we recorded the episode, there were speculations of Russia invading Ukraine, but things were still up in the air, and and no one really knew what was going to happen, and but now that we're recording, there's obviously a full-fledged war going on, and a lot of innocent people have died, and a lot of things have happened, and even in the sports world, right? Starting with sanctions and things like that, towards Russia, and the sports world is obviously affected to that too.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, Cody, yeah, this hits home a lot. I mean, I was born in 1990, so I was right at that cusp when Latvia got their independence back. But for my dad, this is like reliving a nightmare again. You're basically if you go back, this hits home because this war is literally going in our backyard right now. If you wanna put it that way, right? It's Ukraine's really not that far away, and I think for again my dad and stuff, he's just probably in his head reliving, the horror and the crappy things that have happened in the past. How Russia tried to invade Latvia. I mean, same exact thing, right?
Right.
Anyways, we don't need to get into a political thing and talk about that. That's just a little background. But yeah, man, I mean, it's crazy. You start seeing a lot of things have happened. Teams have pulled out. When you talk about the KHL, for example, right?
Oh,
I mean, think of it like the Russia's NHL, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, first team was Helsinki Jokerit that pulled out. And a week or so later, Riga Dynamo, the team from Latvia, pulled out too for same reasons. Obviously they're against to what's going on, and you're kind of now seeing things kind of now revolve more into the NHL side, right? Good example was, and Cody, you and I talked about this a little bit before we were recording, was Alex Ovechkin is getting attacked pretty hard right now, when those reporters were kind of like starting asking him questions, and there's two different sides to it. There you read a lot of comments and stuff, and a lot of people will be like, why are you attacking him? He's just an athlete. Like, he has nothing to do with when it comes to the politics and this and that. Like, let him be a hockey player. I see that side. And then there's other people that are like, get him the heck out of the NHL, and matter of fact, get all the other Russian NHL players out of the NHL right now until this gets resolved. Again, you can see both sides to it. Anyways, maybe I'll let you guys, I've been rambling on for the last 4 minutes or however long, get your guys' thoughts on it, and I'll just kind of chime in.
See, this is my thought is, just the average Russian NHL player, you can't really fault him for being Russian, but in Alexander Ovechkin's case, the guy on Instagram, he switches his picture back to the picture that he took with Putin. He's been a part of, like, he's been a close buddy with Putin, plays hockey all the time with him, even spearheaded that, hashtag Team Putin thing back in 2017 to get him reelected. I mean, when you say he doesn't have much to do with it, in the past, he has made himself a political adversary with Putin. But I mean, as for the normal kind of NHL Russian player, you gotta lay out those guys, because they're here in the States or in Canada trying to make a life for themselves, trying to make a career. It's a difference. Ovechkin isn't just some regular Russian citizen. Like, the man has continuously rubs elbows with Putin. So I understand why the media is always asking him about it, because he's made it clear that he is a very close knit guy with Putin. Yeah. But I mean, as far as guys like even Vasilevsky, Nichushkin, Tarasenko, they've never made their political views known when they're playing over here. They don't concern themselves with that. So for the common Russian player in the NHL, they're getting apparently they're getting death threats, and like. I don't know how concrete that is, because the media always likes to blow that up. It is different. It is different when you look at Ovechkin opposed to other Russian NHL players.
Well, for me, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, okay? Just on both sides, So you have, a couple Russian players like, Valery Nichushkin, and you have, like Zadorov, and you have Ovechkin. Ovechkin's the only one that's kind of like obviously rubbed elbows with, Vladimir Putin. But it's also one of those things to where, Ovechkin really, is in a free country. He is. And it's in a weird way when you see other people in Russia voicing opinions getting arrested, Or you see like, Zadorov saying stop the war. Like, he would be arrested. Like, now in the U.S. he can speak his own mind, but in Russia he'd probably be one of those 4,000 people arrested for it, right? So it's a little weird. You're walking a hard line. But I just think, if the NHL is telling the NHL players to stay quiet about it, it's really hard for you as, someone who's from the Russia area, just to be like, yeah, I can be with this or not be with this. But I think the public is looking for their opinion regardless, one way or another.
Well,
like,
it is, and they are truly stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
It really is. And now I actually read an article today that a lot of Russian players, actually the Russian bureaucracy or something is actually thinking about instilling a law that if you spread fake news, quote unquote fake news, by Russia's standard, is that you will be imprisoned. Which, I mean, their Russian fake news is basically saying anything you say negative about Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough one, man. One thing I can say is, like, I will always respect an athlete, as in their profession, whatever they have accomplished, whatever, right? I will always respect that. But what I will not have respect for is when you get called out on things that you've been very open about in the past, and now you're beating around the bush and not being honest in a sense. That I don't have any respect.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not gonna, throw out names and stuff. I think most people can put the two and two together and understand who I'm kind of looking towards and stuff. But it is what it is. And I see all these people. Well, but what about, like, they can't because of their families and this and that. They're gonna get killed or this. Okay. Why don't you think about that? Like, when you first got into that, put yourself in that situation. No one asked you to go meet him. No one asked you to be buddies with him. Like, you put yourself in that situation. I mean, look at Panarin, for example. I mean, I know Panarin got in some shit, right? But he was open. He was like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's paying consequence, but at least he's an honest person. And he, it's like, don't beat around the bush and then start deleting pictures and stuff. Like, that's just like, you're an athlete. As soon as you become a professional athlete, you're a celebrity in a sense. So anything is fair game to ask at that point.
Well, yeah,
you can have freaking TMZ, like all these people run you around and ask you whatever questions you want. So that's, they chose that life, and it doesn't always have to be about sports, right?
Well, yeah.
So I don't know, man. Again, I can respect people for what they've accomplished, that, but then when it becomes this, and then you're try to like pretend like, oh, I don't know.
Well, no matter what, you have a responsibility when you get into that position. You have a responsibility to know that your voice will be heard, and it will be an opinion altering voice. And it's just I'm not advocating for anything. I'm not trying to change people's minds. We're purely just having a conversation here.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Just having a conversation. And I want to stress that as much as possible.
This is not into getting any, like, again, political debate or anything.
Not
This
taking a
is,
stance or
yeah,
anything like that.
but it just kind of throwing out the obvious and, like, take it for what it is, and you know, go from there. Really, you know.
Yeah, and I mean Dominic Hasek, he called the grade 8 out on social media. He called him chicken shit. You know,
as he should.
and
Sorry.
I mean Dominic, he lived in Czechoslovakia back then, another country that was completely under the rule of the Iron Curtain, and he had to live pretty much all of his life under that until he actually went to the NHL.
And he understands that. You know, people like that, like Dominic Hasek, Artur Zerbe, like those guys, like back in the day, they were very against, like Artur Zerbe, for example, when Russia was trying to invade Latvia, Artur Zerbe was at the front lines, helping to barricade the capital and stuff so the Russians can't get in. Like, that's why, like, people like that, you know, it's like it's just a whole different thing for him. I mean, one thing that Artur Zerbe, for example, in an old interview said, like, he will never sign anything that has the CCCP on, like nothing. He understands he played back under the Soviet Union and stuff, but he says he will never sign any memorabilia ever under that, because that's how strongly he believes. And going back to Dominic Hasek, he probably feels the same exact way.
Oh, absolutely. How
You
could
know,
he not? I mean,
it just hits a whole different home. And what's kind of not even upsetting, but like annoying in a sense, is like you have all these freaking keyboard warriors, so to speak, you know, and just talking online and like, well, you guys don't get it, Ovechkin's in, or whoever's in such a bad spot and they shouldn't, this and that. It's like, first of all, shut up. You've never lived a single day in that side of the world, and you're like making all these things because this would happen and that would happen and this. You've never lived in that side of the world. You're just sitting there like eating McDonald's for most of your, I'm sorry, Americans, but I'm American now too, so don't hate on me. But I'm just saying, because I lived in that side of the world for 13 years, and I don't even have any room to speak because I never even lived that. But from what my dad's been telling me stories, my grandparents have told me stories, like they're horrifying stories, and this is exactly what's happening all over again. So it's just you know, I don't know. I don't think I don't want to get into it more. So
No, of course, and you know, at the end of the day, is you have one country where, you know, their media is totally shut off to the rest of the world. You know, no one knows what it's like on the Russian side, but you know, as hockey players who are involved, you know, if you're Russian, you're involved in NHL. At the end of the day, it's, you know, on both sides. You know, in Russia and the U.S., they're gonna hear what your opinion is. Just be lightful, tread waters lightly, and just make sure you're not trying to put yourself into a situation where you can't get a lot of action from that. That's all I'm saying. So, but,
the one thing too that I want to say is that, I mean, obviously these athletes want to focus on the sport that they're playing, why they're here in the first place, you know. And it is at this point it's extremely hard to focus on that when such things are going on, especially when you're playing in that part of the world. So I'm gonna end it at this: is we're praying for the innocent people. We're not trying to take a stance. It's just it's a conversation that has to be had, and we had it. So we're not taking a stance. We're just purely having a conversation, people.
no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, from all of you, you guys know. I'm again, like I guess not taking a stand. You guys know which side I'm on. That's one thing I want to be like very, very like straight on. Like, glory to Ukraine, and I'll put it that way.
Totally.
And I don't care what anyone says. I'll stand by it. And
safety to the innocent people of Ukraine. And you know what? Our hearts and prayers go out to everyone who's lost somebody out there, you know, for useless violence. So now let's switch from a darker subject to a little bit of a lighter situation. We wanted to cover this on our last Stick and Puck, but we kind of got carried away, as we normally do. Let's talk about some jerseys. And what I'm talking about jerseys is, like, I'm actually sitting with two people that I have poisoned, sort of so to speak, ever since I've gotten my hands on these two. They have their jersey collection has grown exponentially.
Very true.
So I want to get the reasons why you guys kind of started really getting into the jersey craze, and just take it away.
And I guess I'll take it first. For me, I just like the fact that a hockey jersey it's a style. It's definitely a motto you carry with yourself. A hockey sweater, hockey jersey, whatever you want to call it. That trend is so cool. The fact that most jerseys cover just half your arms, but a hockey jersey will literally cover your whole entire body. It has a lot of detail in it. Keeps you warm, and I think you can dress well with it. You can get my shoes, hats with it. I just love the trend that the jerseys have.
I will say to the day I die that hockey jerseys are high fashion to me.
Total high fashion.
I mean, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. Yeah,
Right?
they're pretty much about the same amount as I don't know. I'm a
Some Gucci wallet or
I'm
some
a
shit. I don't know.
Yeah, some Gucci bag or some shit. I don't know.
$250-$300 for a jersey.
For real, and Keits, why what kind of really turned you on to the whole jersey fad other than my terrible influence?
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not even beat around the bush. Like, it was your influence, really, what it started. I mean, but even going back, it's not like I never I had a couple jerseys, right? I had 3-4 jerseys,
yeah,
because they were just fun to wear. You wore them at the Avs games or whatever. It was just cool to have. I don't know. It's just you play hockey, you always have a jersey laying around,
Yeah, it's so much a part of your culture, growing up and playing youth hockey. So, what's different now?
Yeah, but I never, I guess I never, at that time, I never looked into it as, collector type of thing.
Like a hobby?
Yeah, because, I mean, my dad always collected hockey cards, So I looked at that, hockey cards, things like that. Those were that's what you collect, right? Never crossed my mind that, you could do the same thing with jerseys. I don't know. Makes total sense now that I'm doing it, right? But, back then, and younger too, you simply don't have the money for it, It's easier to buy a $10 pack of collector's cards than a $300 jersey, right?
Yeah, when it's at 99 cents versus $299. See, what I like about both of your guys' collector style, I should say, there's a motif to it. So you guys want to kind of jump into your motif about the way you look at collecting your jerseys?
Yeah, for me it was obviously my favorite team's Avalanche, right? So for me, it was I want to get every single Avalanche jersey that is out there,
every iteration,
every single one, and I finally accomplished that, which is nice this year. I finally accomplished it, so yay to me. But when I look at a jersey, for me, it has to just appeal to the eye. I like bright colors. I like how the LA did kind of a almost LA Kings kind of version of that for the reverse retro. Just kind of cool.
Speaking of which, Mr. Keits is wearing his amazing Ivanens, which I think that's probably the best LA Kings iteration ever, both home and away.
I think it's pretty cool. But I also like my Snot Rocket from the boys at Above Sky Productions. Big shout out to those guys too if you're listening. But
which was a guest that you brought in for us.
Yeah, and their concept jerseys are so cool. Even though it's not a real Seattle Kraken jersey, the fact that it just looks so cool and it was so stylish, I picked that up. So I mean, it just depends on style, the colors. There's teams I like and don't like and won't touch, like the Red Wings and the Flyers and such. But I mean, other than that, there's gonna be teams where I see a jersey, I like it, and I'm gonna do it. I definitely need one of those new Phoenix reverse retro jerseys, the purple. Those are so cool.
Oh my god, yeah, the peyote Kachina. And Keits, I know you have a little bit more, a little different of a direction that you're going for your jerseys. You want to spill the beans on that one?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, when it started was, so I did a jerseys on the bench a year or two ago, right? It's somewhere on YouTube there.
Check it out
if you guys want to look at it. So, kind of where it started for me was, a lot of my jerseys were actually I mean, I bought a couple of them, but a lot of them were actually gifted. It was some sort of a gift. Either an old teammate gifted me a jersey or somewhere along the line. So I never really bought my own in a sense. But then as I, Cody, you gifted me a Gergensons. And then Ross gifted me Oskars Bartels out of Dinamo Riga, and he was an ex-NHL player.
That thing is so beautiful too.
A team issued, like, the real deal, right? So after that, it's something like, and I've been around you guys at that point, right? So you guys had jerseys coming in week by week, you know?
Yeah.
And it's something hit me, and I was like, how cool it would be, you know, like I said, I come from Latvia, and that's kind of like where hockey started for me, and it's always been very important to me. How cool would it be to try to focus on history of Latvian hockey through jerseys?
Yeah.
So meaning like ex-NHL Latvian players that used to play, players that play now, just kind of collecting all those Latvian names, because let's be real, like a lot of, like, within the NHL, there's not a lot of us out there, you know, like there's only a handful right now, you know, like speaking like today, you know, in the NHL, you know, you have Merzlikins, you have
Rudolph
Balcers, you have Teddy in Pittsburgh, Girgensons in Buffalo, and that's really it, you know, like the true online, you know.
Off the top of the head kind of Latvian NHLers.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess where I'm going is like if there were to be like a hockey Hall of Fame for Latvian players, like I want to be the guy that has their jerseys. So even like, again, like I was focusing on KHL, you know, Latvians are in the KHL, which I might not do anymore, you know, but, you know, I had those guys, and I had focusing on guys that played in the Czech Extraliga, and, you know, like things like that. And I just like, if I see a Latvian name or anything that has to do something with Latvian, I want it. And I get it, you know, and kind of in between that, you know, like I still like your normal Joe Schmo NHL players, you know.
Right.
I'm still looking for the perfect Patrick Waugh jersey, for example, you know, to add. Freaking Cheevers is one that I want to get, but what pisses me off about him is, he is a signature whore. Like, I just want to get one jersey that does not have a signature, and the only reason I say that is because I want to wear the thing. Yeah. As soon as there's a I buy jerseys to wear them, right? I don't just buy them and I'm like, oh, that's gonna sit in my closet. What's the point? If I'm gonna buy a jersey, I want to wear it. I want to rock it. I want to show it off. Mm-hmm. So like anything with a signature, like, I'm going to go out and stuff, you know, like, I'm going to have to wash it afterwards, you know, like, and something with a signature I can't do.
No, and I mean, it'd be detrimental just to, like, the honor of that person who signed it.
Right. So that being said, like, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, my main focus is on Latvian stuff, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. One thing that I did want to mention is I have something pretty exciting brewing, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm still working out details. My plan is, if everything works out the way I'm thinking it's going to work out, the way I have it planned right now, within sometime next month, I want to release a video on my Instagram, which is going to be sort of like Jerseys on the Bench, of something that I have brewing. It's going to be super exciting, super unique. I think the vintage people are going to be super into it. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to get into any more details. Like I said, I'm still working through all that stuff until I have it all 100% set. I'm not going to, like, talk about it more, but, like, stay tuned. I have something super cool coming.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Between the Pipes podcast. Apparently some crazy stuff's coming out. The last thing I want to mention about jerseys and what kind of really cemented my theory about this, just hearing from both of you guys talk about your travels in jerseys, is hockey jerseys provide so much meaning to the wearer, so much meaning to the team, so much meaning to the history of hockey. And I think that's my favorite part about hockey jerseys is that it carries so much meaning. I mean, there's so many teams that have like hidden messages or hidden, just like tip of the hats too. You know what I mean? Is that it's just there's so much meaning when it comes to a hockey jersey to all of us that just really provides such a room to appreciate and to love about not just the jersey but the game of hockey as well.
Oh, totally. Especially see reverse retros coming back. That was pretty cool. See the Nordiques logo, tip of the hat. When Nordiques came to Colorado, that was super cool. So I just think of things like that, bringing back the old logos, old color schemes. That meaning is so cool because you can't ever forget that.
No, and I think every hockey player will tell you right now is that like you play for the logo in the front, not the name in the back, and that's meaning. That is meaning that means something to every hockey player that pulls on whatever sweater you decide to put on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't agree more, man.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They did just announce that they're gonna be putting out a second go of new reverse retros next year, so that's gonna be exciting. All I gotta say is Colorado, don't do white.
Yeah, so so it was the Nordiques this last year. So they're Colorado Rockies, right? Is their new possible retro design?
The rumors are that they're gonna try to go for a Rockies design, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's more. I'm sorry, but that's more of a New Jersey Devils kind of thing. That's where the New Jersey Devils came from. That's not where the Colorado Avalanche came from. Yeah, of course it was in Colorado, but that has nothing to do with the Avalanche history. Zero. So I mean, more power to New Jersey Devils to want to do something like that, but bring back the Yeti foot, people. Let's go.
Yeah, I love the Yeti foot, man.
So come on. All right, so boys, that was I gotta say another beauty sticking puck, eh?
Yeah, it was great.
Zamboni's back on the ice.
So check out Between the Pipes podcast. Where can you hear Between the Pipes podcast, Keits?
You can hear me at Between the Pipes podcast Instagram. And there's a link there. You can click on that. That's where this episode's gonna be. Other than that, I don't. Just kind of follow me on Instagram. I'm posting a bunch of jersey stuff as of late. That's kind of been the new thing for me. I'm into that
a little
vintage,
bit of a bloggage kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of blogish thing. It's not really like a podcast anymore in a sense. I mean, we do them, but it's been a while.
Something a little bit more than just a podcast. It really is a vibe.
Yeah, so more so like I guess if you want to follow me at Between the Pipes podcast, which that name might change, and I'll update that when that time comes. But for now, Between the Pipes podcast.
Brilliant. And you can catch On the Bench with Beeks at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, a million other places. So until next time, I mean, boys, always a good time. $5, paid in full. Always a good time, boys. Little sayonara here for a bit.
Salute.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, baby.